The six-county Southern California region holds the largest regional economy in the United States. For decades, it served as a reliable engine for mass job creation. By traditional measures, 2025 looked like another strong year. Real GDP grew by 1.9%, signaling high corporate output and high enterprise valuations. Yet beneath that growth lies a glaring anomaly. Net job creation essentially flatlined. Across the entire region, the economy minted a mere 22,000 jobs over the year. To put that in perspective, outside of the pandemic, 22,000 new jobs is the lowest volume of regional job creation since the Great Recession. This animated line graph plots real GDP growth, steadily climbing upward, against non-farm payroll jobs, which abruptly stall out as we hit 2025. The physical divergence here is striking. Economic output and employment, metrics that historically moved in tandem, have broken apart. The region is experiencing a structural decoupling. High economic output no longer requires a corresponding high volume of human employment. Two primary drivers are forcing this separation: the rapid integration of labor-augmenting artificial intelligence and extreme sector polarization. Traditional economic metrics cannot capture a system where growth and labor are no longer linked. To understand the trajectory of the region, policymakers must look past top-line job numbers. We see this first in traditional high-wage cognitive sectors, such as software development, corporate financial activities, and motion picture production. Beginning in late 2022, employment across these high-tech services entered a severe and ongoing contraction. This timeline chart illustrates that contraction. High-tech employment peaks, and right here at the vertical marker, coinciding with the public release of generative AI in December 2022, the line begins a steep, continuous descent. This disruption extends well beyond coding and data analytics. It has deeply penetrated creative fields like motion picture production. Even after the strikes resolved, approximately 33,000 Hollywood wage and salary workers never returned to the labor force. Production activity remains historically low. Organizations are substituting human labor with AI to execute entry-level cognitive tasks. Everything from code debugging to video post-production is handled by automated systems. Meanwhile, corporate output, content generation, and enterprise valuations remain high. Firms simply require less human labor to achieve those results. Labor-augmenting technology is shrinking the entry-level pathways into secure white-collar professions, all while sustaining overall regional output. There is one major sector artificially buoying the region's employment numbers: healthcare and social assistance. Since 2021, this sector alone added 261,000 jobs, accounting for nearly all net regional job creation over that period. This stacked bar chart dissects the healthcare sector, revealing a severe discrepancy between medical practitioners and support occupations. A practitioner's median wage is $50.84, while a support role pays just $16.76 an hour. The volumetric growth is heavily skewed toward the bottom. This low-wage support category is growing 3.5 times faster than its 2018 baseline. Unlike cognitive tasks, the physical, empathy-driven care required in these roles cannot currently be automated or augmented by artificial intelligence. The region is effectively trading high-wage cognitive jobs lost to AI for a massive influx of low-wage physical service jobs. Relying on top-line job growth in healthcare ignores the active degradation of the region's average job quality and standard of living. We can map how this substitution of cognitive labor for physical service labor impacts overall regional prosperity over time. We measure this by comparing regional GDP per worker, which represents productivity, against the average annual wage, which represents compensation. This dual line graph shows individual worker productivity has climbed by 22.3% over the past 12 years. Look at the wage trajectory over that same period. Average wages grew by only 12.9%, creating a widening chasm between what workers produce and what they earn. This raises a critical economic question. Where is the value of that missing 9.4% in productivity gains going? These tech-driven productivity gains are materializing as non-labor income. They concentrate wealth in capital returns, investments, and corporate profits. The regional economic engine is divorcing worker productivity from worker compensation, a dynamic that threatens the stability of the middle class. A final variable is constraining the regional economy, demographic shifts, and restricted labor supply. Severe domestic outmigration has stripped the region of its native workforce. For years, Southern California has relied entirely on foreign immigration for population growth. That labor supply now faces the threat of strict federal immigration enforcement policy. Recent data shows a 5-fold spike in immigration and customs enforcement arrests within Los Angeles County alone compared to the prior year. This policy shift directly hits the physical industries that remain resistant to AI automation, particularly logistics and housing construction. Undocumented workers currently account for roughly 28% of the entire region's construction labor force. Restricting immigrant labor while AI dismantles cognitive jobs creates a dual threat, risking the paralysis of both the physical and digital engines of the Southern California economy. These converging technological and demographic factors shape the official economic forecast for 2026 and 2027. The outlook projects a sluggish 0.8% job growth rate next year, with unemployment predicted to hover above 6%. Returning to our original GDP versus payroll graph, we see the forecast extended. The massive gap between output and employment remains a fixed feature through 2027. High corporate output and tech valuations will persist, but they will no longer translate into mass local hiring. The resulting landscape is a barbell economy. We see high-yield capital returns concentrated on one end and expanding low-wage physical services on the other. The regional economy has an immediate policy imperative for regional planners, economic developers, and civic leaders. Outdated top-line job counting metrics must be abandoned. The focus must shift to analyzing job quality and upward mobility. Leaders must design aggressive upskilling pathways for the booming low-wage healthcare support workforce, bridging the gap to higher-wage practitioner roles. The regional economy has reorganized around a model that prizes efficiency over headcount. Prosperity now requires a policy response that addresses both the concentration of wealth at the top and the specific labor constraints of a physically dependent service sector.